Good morning and welcome to Waking Up California with Diego Martinez, candidate for governor of California in 2022. A lot of stuff, right? A lot of stuff has changed from where we call 2020, 2021, and now what are we walking into 2022? Where has our government gone? What have we learned? Where are we with vaccinations? Where are we with COVID-19? Do we still hear about it? Where are we about mandates, mask mandates, vaccination card mandates going into restaurants? We're going to talk a little bit about the recall, what's going on with the new laws that they're trying to change for the recall. We're going to talk a little bit about SB 262, which is the cash bail law in the state of California, and why are we attacking cash bail when we just had it in November's ballots? What's the good or bad about it? We're going to open it up for questions about anything and everything that's going on and how we should address going into 2022 here in a few weeks. Where do we see ourselves at the end of 2022? Where has our congressional lines have been divided? Have they been finalized yet? Do we know what we're looking for and what we're voting for in 2022 yet? There's a lot of questions. Open borders. Our fuel prices going through the roof. Is that a U.S. problem, a California problem, a combined problem? We have so much going on, laws being passed every day in the California Assembly, California Senate, without anybody objecting to these laws being passed. Why are they being passed? Our jails and our prison systems. Why are we allowing criminals out of there? AOC and her comments towards this. Our elections, election integrity. Does it really exist? Should it exist? So let's start diving into some of these questions and answers and see where we're at. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody who's coming on these shows, listening, sharing. And if there's anything that you'd like to discuss, you have two options. One, put it in the comments at the bottom. Excuse me when I slow down to read them. Two, push the join button to become part of the program, and you can go live. I am open, both parties. This isn't a bipartisan. This is everybody in the state of California. Everybody in the world has ability to come in here and talk and ask questions. That's what this program is about. It's an educational, more on facts and what's going on, more than a political party or the other. As I get started here, I'm going to tell everybody, I believe both political parties have failed the United States and the California people. Bottom line, especially in the state of California, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party have destroyed our state jointly and together. Sorry, guys. If you guys are diehard Republicans and you don't believe me, I offer you to come on here and come on out here and we can discuss it. My first question to you, though, if you're going to challenge me on what I just said, do me a favor. Other than Kevin Kiley, who was running for governor of California, send me, and we can start the conversation with this Republican stood up for the recall. This Republican went on national television and stood up for the recall. Told you can show me that. We don't need to discuss whether the Republican Party has failed us or not, because they failed us in the recall. Not only did they fail us then, they're starting to fail us now in California Senate and California Assembly when they want and are able to change the recall laws to make it harder for somebody to get recall. Because that's what's going on right now. They're having sessions about changing the laws and the rules on how to recall somebody. Why? I don't know if you guys have been watching or not. The most person who's been on a recall ballot, or the most people that they're trying to recall, anybody want to guess? School boards. People from the school boards are the ones that they're trying to recall most right now. So they're trying to change how we do a recall so that a governor cannot be so easily recalled again, or any other office. Well, guess what? If you do your job, you wouldn't get recalled. It's the bottom line. Let's get some facts straight here. We lost a recall because we made it about a Democrat and a Republican. We did not lose the recall because somebody did voter election or voter integrity. Because guess what? We had a half of the people who are registered to vote in the state of California actually go out and vote. We can call it whatever you want. We can say they frauded it. We can say all that. I'm not going to say that didn't happen. But what I'm going to tell you that did happen, that we can prove that happened, is that the Republican Party did not stand up, did not show up, did not show support for the recall. Yes, a lot of us are Republicans. A lot of us were going and saying yes. But at the end of the day, There wasn't enough yes on the recall. There wasn't enough. This is about Gavin Newsom and the lack of his job to the state of California. So it's the state of California versus Gavin Newsom. That's what a recall is. The state versus the person who's getting recalled, not who's going to replace them. You have 48 different candidates. Should have had a debate with all 48 and let California see them. But instead, we worried about money. We worried about fame. We didn't worry about who was running on principles, ideologies, or their stance on fixing California. At the end of the recall, we made it one man versus another. That killed the recall. I challenge anybody to tell me that I'm wrong with that. Because a recall is about one person not doing their job right. The person who's running to replace him is not running against that person. That person is running against every other contender that's running. And we, as a nation, as a California state, did a lousy job going out there and forcing every single candidate to debate each other and get national recognition where it should have been, no matter what kind of money they had. That was our problem with the recall. We should never let that happen again. But we should also hold our elected officials accountable for what's going on right now where they're trying to change the laws. Let's talk about why the school boards are getting recalled so much. Well, let's do this. Vaccination mandates. How many shots for COVID-19 are you going to take? How many vaccinations are you going to take before you say enough's enough? We started with the first shot. Then you had to take the second shot. Now you got to take a booster. Now you got to take another booster. Now you got to take another booster. Oh, wait, California? COVID's a lot stronger now, so now you got to go back and redo it again. That's insane. That is crazy, and that is insane. How about restaurants? They shut us down. They wouldn't let us go at full capacity. Only 25% of the people were allowed to come in our restaurants when they were allowed to come in. Some of you guys are restaurant owners, and I want you guys to listen to this. And if you got a friend who's a restaurant owner, turn up the volume right now because this is directly straight to you. Stop being stupid. Stop demanding people to show a vaccination card. You're pushing your own business away. When did you become government? When did the government do anything for you during COVID-19 other than shut you down because you weren't McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, and you didn't have a drive-through? And now that they're allowing you to open your business, you're pushing your own clients away, asking them for a vaccination card. Is business that good? Did you forget how they just shut you down and wouldn't allow you to open business? That now you want to become the vaccination police? What is wrong? Does government shut you down? Let every other big corporation run. They're letting you open your doors, and now you're telling your clients that want to support you, that want to help your business grow. Sorry, you can't come in here if you don't have a vaccination card? If any of you guys are restaurant owners and are doing that, can you please explain that to me? Because as a businessman, I don't get that. I don't get that theory at all. And if you don't believe me, look at In-N-Out Burger. Their stock has risen through the roof when they said, no, we're not going to check vaccination. That's not our job. And the truth is, you're a restaurant owner, you're a business owner. It is not your job to check if somebody has gotten their vaccination or not. It is not important to you. What's important to you is that these people come in and do business with you and tell their friends about your business, tell them how great your food was and how great your service is so your business can grow. Common thing everybody always asks me, how do you feel about the vaccination and the mandates of vaccinations? Simple explanation. I'm not anti-vaccination. I'm not pro-vaccination. What I am is pro-choice. Pro-choice. Let me say that again. Your vaccination is a choice. What you do with your body is a choice. The government should have no right forcing anybody to do anything against their will. Whether it's vaccinations or whatever they feel. It's an overreach of power. And that's what's going on. It's against our constitutional rights. You should have an option. You should have a choice. The same thing with your kids going to school. You as a parent should have a choice whether your kids are vaccinated or not. I respect both sides. If you went and got vaccinated, I respect you. If you chose not to, I respect your decision also, because that is your freedom and your choice and why we are Americans. As I talk about these freedoms, they're getting taken away every day. Our freedoms are taken away every single day, and we're allowing it by the people who we have put in office. My mom is in an old folks home, and now I have to get a test. Is $25 and only lasts 3 days to test. Wow. See, that is crazy. That to me is crazy. If you have medical help there, they should be able to test, and it should be part of what you're paying for the admission if they're making you pay for it. In LA, they have vaccinated a kid without parents' consent. That I also heard about. It's an overreach. It's an overreach on all of this. You're charging us for a test. Why should I test? If your facility is clean and you're keeping it up to code, why should I make sure and show you that you're doing your job right? If you're mandating your employees to be vaccinated and show their tests, why should the people inside have to worry about it? Funniest thing, I'll share this with everybody. I got a friend who's in the hospital and trying to go see him. They said, yeah, you can come over. You got to be quarantined for 14 days, and then you can see him. I don't know how many of you guys can actually afford 14 days off work, especially when you're running a business like me. So you can't do that. It's a hospital. If I'm sick, take care of me. If I have COVID, you don't want to see me? I got to come on. What happened? What happened to our country? What happened to our state? Why would a school try to test your kids for COVID? Where is it their right? Where is it their responsibility? Their responsibility is to teach our kids. And if you look at U.S. history and you actually do U.S. history, you're teaching our kids about the freedoms and the rights and the civil rights that our forefathers have fought for us to be able to have a choice and a decision and a freedom. What was the Revolutionary War for? What was the Civil War about? Freedom. And we're giving that away in 2020, 2021. We're giving our freedom and our rights away. There's no better time to say this, wake up California. But there's no better time to say this, wake up America. We're selling ourselves to China. Our president is selling us to China little by little, every day, getting involved in stuff that he shouldn't. There's problems that are going on around the world that we as Americans have caused because we have a weak president who has given up our rights and our freedoms, who didn't care about the sacrifices that our friends, neighbors, brothers, and family members have made for other countries to keep them safe, that just goes ahead and gives their country back. We have a president who has weakened our safety. Our fuel prices have gone through the roof because he has shut down our fuel lines and our way of making money, yet allows other countries to get rich off the cruel oil that we need to buy from them. It's time we wake up. It's time that we stop talking about parties, this party or that party. It's time that we start talking about what's best for each and every single one of us and our family members, and better than anything, our future and our kids' future, because that's coming. And it's around the corner. And if we don't wake up soon, there won't be a future. I was on the phone with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about how many of you guys, I'm going to date myself here a little bit. Most of you guys are probably about the same age. Do you guys remember Mad Max in the 80s? Remember the show Mad Max in the 80s? It was a movie, came on for a little bit. And they were barely running electricity through a small little generator, like a bicycle or something, and it just kept flashing on and on. There's nothing around. Fuel wasn't really around. Very few people had cars. Do you guys see a pattern? Because sometimes when I look at our future, that's what I see. They're taking our raw fuel away. They're taking our water away. Remember Waterworld? Kevin Costner looking for water? You look at these movies and you're like, man, how close were they? I'll throw another one in there. One of my favorite movies was The Matrix. And you're like, why would you bring that up? Because it looked like everything was fine. The Matrix shows you that half of society is awake, paying attention to what's going on, kind of like right now. Most of us are awake. Most of us are, when I say awake, I'm not saying that we don't live or that we're in a computer program that they plug our head or anything like that. What I'm saying is that we're awake with the political injustice that's going on in the state, in this country, right? And then there's the people that keep voting the way they voted because and I was one of them at one time. I went to work every day. I did my thing. As long as I made enough money to feed my family, politically it didn't matter, right? Now I'm politically involved. So now I'm watching what's going on politically. So you call that being awake. The Jetsons, they were trying to turn our state into Jetsons, the cartoon, right? It's always felt like Hollywood has been speaking, right? If you look at the old movies, you're like thinking like, man, are we headed that way? Is that where we're going? Because some of those movies now are starting to make sense. There was a song written in the early 60s, I think it was, 70s, that said in 2025, I'll find the name of the song and I'm going to post it. I'm going to see if I can post it on my Facebook. See if they let me. Listen to the lyrics of the song. It's talking about everything that's going on right now. You're like, things that make you think a little bit, right? We have so much going on. The recall rules. We have got to start calling our assemblymen, our state senators, start telling them to stop. Do not change the recall laws. They're there for a reason. They were put on there for a reason. Is it easy to recall somebody? No. But should somebody get recalled? Yes. If they're not doing their job, just like any one of us that goes to work and not doing our jobs, we get written up, we get talked to, and then we get fired. It's the same thing with any elected official. We have got to stop letting these elected officials think that they're God and it's their way or the highway. So get on the phone, start calling your legislations, telling them, say no to changing the laws of the recall. Start standing up, California. We're going to be at a raw fuel, which we are already. We're giving it to another country. They're making us take vaccinations. Now they're talking about your first, your second, your booster, and wait. Now we got to start over again because we have a different strain of COVID-19. Here's the thing, and if anybody can explain this to me, please do so. How is it that you taking a shot for COVID-19, you're helping me and you're saving my life? I want somebody to explain that to me. Because we have way more stuff in this state and in this country to worry about. California wants to be the first state to openly allow abortions to happen without opposition. The opposition of pro-life is now saying, no, we need to ban abortions from the state of California. I don't know if you guys watched that on television the other day. I was appalled when I saw it. Because again, freedom of choice. There's more strains of C19 than there is of marijuana. That is not a joke, Terry. That is not a joke. They're talking about this strain, that strain of COVID-19, so you need that to keep happening. So we need to watch what's going on. We need to watch what we're putting in our bodies, and it should be our choice and our freedom. The same thing with our kids going to school. What happened in LA is a tragic, where the school actually vaccinated a kid because they tested him. Test your kids at home if you have to. Don't let the schools do it. If we don't stand together and we don't fight for this, we're going to lose that. We're already losing our freedoms as they go every day. So am I anti-vax? No. Am I pro-vaccination? No. I'm pro-freedom and pro-choice, and it's your body, your choice, your right, your kid's body, your kid's choice to get a vaccination or not. It's the parent's choice. I'm pro-parenting. That means the parents actually take control of what's going on with our kids. I didn't like the law that passed that allowed an 11-year-old to be able to go into a doctor and get an abortion. I didn't like the law that passed that an 11-year-old can go to a doctor and get hormones for a different sexuality without the parents knowing. I think parents need to be more involved in the medical decisions of our kids, and I think the government needs to stay the heck out of there and let the parents do their job and become parents. I believe that what's getting taught in the schools isn't right. I don't believe in CRT training. I don't think it should be a mandate for somebody to graduate high school to have a CRT course, or you can't graduate high school. I believe that it's your parents' choice. I think sexual training should be done at home, not at schools. I think sexuality should be taught at school the way it was. This part, that part, this and that. But it shouldn't be what it is right now. And it almost looks like half the educational books are porn books more than educational books. If you guys have kids or grandkids in school right now, take a look at what they're teaching them when it comes to sex ed. You'll be appalled. Now that water has a bad bacteria in it in Sacramento, that you hear about the high levels of in Riverbank. Gino, I haven't heard a whole lot about what's going on with water. I kind of retrieved myself after we did the rally for water, and I'll tell you guys why. When we did the rally for water, it was interesting. Everybody on the internet talks about water. I mean, you go on the internet and all you hear is water, 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 water. Yet every organization blames itself or blames the other organization. Our problem with water starts in each one of these organizations who's out there right now fighting against each other. The salmon people, the farmers, the dairies. Anybody who needs water needs to sit down, sit in a room together and talk about water. How much water they need and how we could fix the water rights. It was disappointing to be out there and doing a rally for people, for everybody. Because the rally of water wasn't about one industry or another. It was just about everybody in California getting their fair share of water and changing the water rights. Each group made it about the other group. Each group made it about how they hate the other group. You wonder why we have a water problem? It starts right there. Because these groups can't get together and say, hey, let's figure out how we can fix the water situation. Then we present it to legislation. And we all stand behind it. But instead, they rather blame the almond, the salmon, the dairies. Our water problems go deeper than one organization or the other. Because they're using those organizations to keep the water away from everybody. They're keeping that way to control the California people. Water should never be a problem in the state of California. We have technology, desalination, which, yes, farmers don't want desalination for their water. I get that. How about taking that desalination and using for everyday use in households? So our fresh water isn't getting used for that. There's a lot of different things that we can do. Personally, I believe that if we all stand together on the position of stopping government overreach rather than political party lines, we'd all come out together, left, right, just my thoughts. I agree with you. If we go back in time where Ronald Reagan, Kennedy, or even go that far, where the parties actually meant something, they actually talk to each other and they actually try to solve problems instead of creating more problems. I think you're 100% right. I think all parties need to come together, sit down and forget about your party lines, start putting about your beliefs and what's the belief of your district or the people in your zone that you're worried about. SB 9, SB 10, to me, shouldn't have passed the way it did because I don't believe in dual or residencies in one property without any permits, without nothing. That's going to create a problem to our sewer lines, to our water, to our electricity, to everything else that nobody's overseen. Yet, we need to take care of that. Some places it might be a good idea, but not for the whole California. Again, that's where your assemblymen, your congressmen should actually sat down, senators should have sat down and said, look, for our district it works, for ours it doesn't because of this, this, and this. So that's more of a local level thing more than a state thing. I believe should have been left alone to each county to select SB 9 and SB 10, not make it a California issue where now you're going to flood an area that shouldn't have been flooded. My product is going to solve the sewer problem. It's the grease that is in the sewers and contaminating our water. Have to add more chemicals to it to keep it clean. Anything that we put into the water puts bacteria and different stuff into the water. And Gino, you are 100% right. A biofuel system that will pull the grease out of your drain or out of the sewers and straight into a different thing that we can recycle and use is always a great product to have, whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a renter, or whether you believe in the environment. When you can recycle grease, make it into biofuel, because the biofuel is going to help us fuel, heat, and things that we need in the state of California and just in the United States in general. That is a great product that's coming out. You guys ought to check that out if you're a homeowner, if you're a renter. If you're like me and you cook all the time, you use cooking oil, it's a great system to have to be able to recycle your everyday oil and turn it into biofuel. So I've been excited about this product since it got introduced to me last year. I move it all the time and I talk about it all the time. Why? Because I believe in our environment. I believe in having a better way of life and working with the environment, also working with our future for different ways of powering the state of California. So Gino, as soon as you can get that thing out there, let us all know. We'd love to see it. We'd love to go out there and see how it works. As a matter of fact, when you get one out, I'll be happy to put one in my house and see how it works, and then I'll show everybody how it works. So politicians need to stop worrying about party lines, start worrying about the people who elected them. Us as voters of the state of California need to start doing some research on everybody who's running for office and what they stand for. Left, right, it doesn't matter. It matters about what they stand for and what they will do for us once they get in there. And that's all the way around. Go next door, talk to your neighbors. Have you ever asked your neighbors? Have you ever cared if your neighbor was a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, or anything? Or have you just sat down and had a conversation with them and just talked about life? I had the pleasure of sitting and talking to some libertarians. The young lady's father used to be an engineer for water, for the salmon industry. And we talked about the forest. We talked about forest management. Environmentalists are just like we are. They also believe that our forest should be cleaned up, should be kept up, and should be made stronger. Talked about water. Everybody has the same concerns. I don't care what side of the party you're at. But your vote counts. Terry said it best. Every vote counts here. We all need to have these talks. We all need to just sit down, have town hall meetings and invite everybody. One thing that we're going to do different in my campaign in 2022, once we get 100% going on the campaign trail, we kind of been taking it a little bit easy because I believe that everybody's gotten a little fed up with politics and what's going on with the recall and everything else, that we're allowing a little bit of time to open up before we get out there on the road 100%. But the one thing that we talked about is that we're going to invite both sides. We're going to invite everybody. We're going to blanket a neighborhood with mailers and information about what's going on, and we're just going to put a topic that we're going to be talking about. And I'd like to invite each and every single one of you guys and your friends to come out to these conversations. We're going to do it more in town hall style, town hall meetings where we all sit down, everybody can ask questions, both sides, without anybody getting angry at each other. Because when we get mad at each other, we don't listen. I ask everybody to listen to everybody's point of view and actually hear what's going on. You'd be surprised when you open your mind up a little bit and you hear what they're saying. You're like, well, we're saying the same thing. We're just saying it in a different way. Is there a way that we can communicate with the other side and join forces for a better future? There is, and there has been. The first step is actually communication. The second step is stop fighting. Stop discriminating against each other just because you're a Democrat or a Republican. I know a lot of good people that are Democrats. That they are from the age of the John F. Kennedy Democratic Party, which is no longer there. Let me know when you come out my way of Orange County so I can canvass the streets for you. I'll pass out the flyers. I will let you know that. I will let everybody know where I'm going to go. And the one thing I'm going to ask everybody right now is if you want to help me with my campaign, whether it's canvassing the grounds, making phone calls, please go to DiegoMartinezForGovernor.com. Go to the team page, put what you're willing to do and what area you're with, and we're going to get a hold of you because we're going to need everybody's help this time around. We need help to get our message out. We need help just to pass out flyers, just to tell your neighbors. The one biggest help that everybody can give us right now, today, like and share these videos and let your friends know. And on the top, put no party preference. All parties welcome. Yes, I'm running as a Republican, but man, I'm running for the state of California. I'm running for the California people. I don't care about the Republican Party. I don't care about the Democratic Party. I care about the people of California. And if we don't take a hold of that and make a difference, it's not going to happen. We'll get out some flyers out there in Riverbank, Modesto, Tuolumne County. We're going to do a lot more here in this county, Calaveras County. And I'm going to go down south, like always, and do more stuff down south, like we did last time. We're going to get on, we're going to be down south a couple Saturdays this month. We'll let everybody know where we're at. They're not my events. They're, I'm showing support for other organizations such as BASTA, the Republican Party, the Women's Federal Republican Party, where we're going to be at, and I'm going to invite everybody to go join us and ask questions. If anything, come out there and meet me. Come out there in person, ask me the questions that you want, because there's nothing better than actually being able to know and talk to somebody. Here we go again with the sound, huh? Never fails. Can you guys hear me now on Instagram? God, I must have hit the 34-minute mark, because there we go. Lost sound. Give me 1 minute. Be right back. Let's see if we can do this again. It always happens for some reason. On Instagram, for some reason, when you start talking about stuff, or you've been on it too long for some reason, they don't want you to be there anymore. So they actually mute me. It seems like that's been a problem that's been going on for a while now with them. So sometimes I have to log out, log back in, and start over. So we're gonna do that right now on Instagram. Let's see, that's not mine. Let's go back over here. Boom. All right, so we're getting back on over in Instagram right now. We just went back off, relogged in, and see if we get some volume there. We'll keep going. Do I need a badge or anything to wear when I go door to door and hand out flyers? You know, Gino, I could get you a badge that says vote for Diego Martinez, but I actually believe that when we go door to door and we start talking to people, we actually do it a little bit easier just as a neighbor. Hey, neighbor, or hey, friend, I saw this coming up. Thought you might be interested. Here's a flyer to show you guys what's going on. Please come and join us. But I will get you something that says Diego Martinez for governor. We have some pins that we can give you if you want to go out there and hand out flyers for us and walk from one neighborhood to another, talk your precincts, and let people know what's going on out there, because that's how we're going to do it. We're going to go from neighborhood to neighborhood, and we're going to have town hall meetings, and we're going to talk to people, and we're going to let them know what's going on. I don't think information we should charge for, but we will have a place where people can donate. We will have some auctions going on that people can get involved and make the entertainment fun, because I believe that even though we're getting information, it should be enjoyable, it should be fun, and people should be entertained a little bit on what's going on. These are some serious matters that are going on in the state of California. You know, we talked about how they're trying to change the recall. We talked about SB 262, which I need to push a little bit more, and I need to educate people a little bit more on SB 262. 262 is another way around of Prop 25. So what happened is the government didn't like the fact that people say, no, we don't want to get rid of cash bail. So now they introduced a legislation, which is a Senate Bill 262, which is basically going to put bail bondsmen out of business if we don't stop this bill from passing. The bill doesn't say there won't be no cash bail. What they're basically saying is there's not going to be any agents to do the cash bail because of the way it's written. Let's take, for example, and this is really what's going on, $100,000 bail. The person who's in jail is responsible for 10% of that, which is $1,000. The bail company comes, bails you out. They have a cost that they endure right away, the minute they cash that bail, to their insurance company or their backers. There's a percentage of that. 262 passes, says that if this person goes to jail, goes to all their court dates a year later, you have to repay them $9,500 out of that $10,000. They forget about that cost that you endure. So you're already negative a percentage of that money, and now you have to refund that money. $500 doesn't cover it. What does that mean? That after a year, bail companies will go out of business because they will not be able to sustain and repay back for their services for you to be out of jail or your relative to be out of jail. California state law right now requires bail companies to charge 10% of the bail costs, of the bond costs. that money goes, a percentage goes to your insurance company to maintain, to keep those bonds coming in, to secure your debt towards the courts. The other goes to cost of maintaining your office open, your staff, the people who you just paid, that bail agent who just went out and got you out of jail. They get a salary. They don't do this for the love of the game. They get paid. Imagine taking all that after a year and having to repay somebody. How long can you stay in business? That'd be the same way that if you own a small grocery store, I go there, I get a loaf of bread, I eat the whole loaf of bread, and I take you back the bag, and I said, okay, I want my $2.50 back. Because that's essentially what they're saying. Or you go in a gas station, you get water, and you drink it, and then you take the bottle back, and you want your $1.99 back. You can't stay in business like that. So what we have learned from government in the state of California is when they don't like something, they'll rewrite it till they don't have to pass it or get it voted on, where legislation could just, where the governor could just go ahead and vote on it and pass it and move on without the California people really knowing what's going on. That's corruption. And that's what goes on every day. The death penalty in the state of California voted, yes, we want to keep the death penalty. Our governor turned around and did whatever he wanted, not what the California people wanted. Overreach of power. Welcome to California. And the list goes on and on and on laws that they do the same thing with. They'll twist it, they'll change it, they'll do whatever they need to till they get what they want. They want the bail industry out of business in the state of California, and they're doing it with SB 262. So please call your senators and your assemblymen and say, no, do not pass SB 262 because it is going to hurt the safety of us and our families in the state of California, because that's where it comes to. They are going to try to bankrupt every private business. And that's why I said earlier to all of you restaurant owners that are saying out there and saying, I want you to show me your vaccination ID before you come in and eat at my establishment. You're doing the governor's job. Guess what? It's not your job. You're not a police agency. Let the people come in, spend their money, and grow your business. Because if you keep asking people for vaccination IDs, guess what? They're not going to eat at your place. You better hope that more people got vaccinated and go to your place to eat than the ones that didn't. Because you'll be out of business also. It might sound like you're cool and you're riding the wave of the government, but that's just a different way of controlling us and taking our freedoms away. Stop asking people for vaccination ID. Start worrying about growing your business. Remember, they didn't help you during COVID-19. They let you shut your doors, and they didn't care if you reopened or not. We try to reopen, and then they enforce more laws. Till most of us didn't reopen. A lot of restaurants did not reopen. So why would you want to push your clients away, asking them to verify that they had a vaccination that has absolutely nothing to do with you? Follow the lead of In-N-Out Burger. Follow the lead of many other businesses that don't ask, don't care. What they care is about growing their business, providing great service, and getting you going, and getting you back to what we call normal. And you still got to pay taxes for your company, whether you were running, making money or not. Let's unite for a better future. Let's unite for a California that we can all be proud of to leave to our kids and our grandkids. Let's unite for a better California where government doesn't overreach, but wants us to grow our businesses and our livelihoods and lowers our taxes so we can live better. Talked about it last time. McDonald's under kiosk, where now you can order because they don't want to pay employees $16 an hour. They need a few. They don't need what they used to. And the prices have just gone through the roof because our minimum wage went up. So what did we do? We created inflation. We created where it costs us more money to stay in business. We have got to look at a better future for California. And it's not the people that are in office right now. We have got to make the right choices of who we get. Tomatoes is gold, $5 for a $1.75 hamburger, right? Man, $5, $10 for a burger right now that we used to get for $2.50, 25 cents. Kind of crazy. And nothing has changed. The McDonald's burger has not changed in years. Still, I would like to thank everybody who has joined us this morning, who has been here with us. I ask you to like and share my videos. Go to DiegoMartinezForGovernor.com. If you can, donate to the campaign. Donate for a better future. If financially you can't do that at this moment, please like and share the videos. Get your friends involved. Get your friends to come and join these videos or watch them afterwards. Don't let California go under. It's time for a change. The real question is, are you ready for change? Are you ready to stop hating your neighbors because they're not a Republican or they're not a Democrat? Are you ready to go to a better future and a better California where we get along, where our government actually stops doing poor leadership and starts doing leadership for the people of the state and listening to the state? If you are, get behind Diego Martinez, candidate for governor of California in 2022, because we are ready for change. We're ready for a better future. I understand times are tough right now financially. If you can, any little bit helps. DiegoMartinezForGovernor.com, hit the donate button. If you can't financially, like and share my videos and let your friends know Diego Martinez is a serious candidate for governor of California in 2022. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.